Yeah, pretty much just that.
Do I sit here?
Oh, right.
Oh, okay.
And then just the reason behind it, is that it's going to be a short documentary.
Yeah.
That's going to either be used for like diversity recruitment amongst interested high school students
Okay.
that applying to Stanford, or to the administration to kind of validate their funding of
Okay.
the community centers.
Okay.
Okay, so just make sure it's on recording. Okay. Here's a list of questions.
Oh, okay.
Something that you
All right. So, are you going to ask me the questions, or how is this going to?
yeah, no, I'm going to ask you the questions.
Okay.
I'm going to be over here. Look at me and at the camera when you answer them.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm not going to ask all the questions.
Okay.
Probably just take 4 to 5 minutes to do the full interview, and yeah, I mean just kind of like I said, it's just gonna go over like your experience with Central and how it affected your academics, professional career,
Okay.
stuff like that.
Okay.
And some of this is gonna be like some of this is I'm only gonna use the audio of, and some of this I'm gonna use
Okay.
the video of too.
Okay.
So it's gonna be fun. Okay. All right. So just start off with what's your name, major / major in class here,
Yep.
and what do you do now?
Okay, sure. My name is Eva de la Rosa. I graduated from Stanford as an undergrad in 1995 with a major in urban studies. I currently work for American Express as a B2B client manager.
What VSOs under a Central or connected to a Central did you participate in?
I was very involved with Project Motivation. That had truly a lifelong impact on me when I was applying to schools. I wasn't so sure if Stanford was going to be a place for me, or if I would even, be worthy of coming here. But I have fond memories of the students at that time encouraging many of us to visit the campus, and they had just a phenomenal weekend of activities and answered all of our questions and were great mentors and really encouraged many of us kids who are first generation college students, first generation Latinas to apply, and it was just a very uplifting experience, and so I very much wanted to give back once I got here, so that was really my passion point.
What was your first impression of the Central, or maybe your first interaction with it?
Sure. For me, Centro always felt like a safe place to come in the middle of a lot of chaos and stress, especially as a first-generation college student. It was a place where I could get enough direction on things that I just wasn't comfortable asking people in my dorm who were not necessarily Latino. And again, being a first-generation Latina, it was just, outside of my comfort zone. A lot of culture shock, not sure if I belonged here. So every time I came to Centro, I knew that I could confide in someone. I could get tutoring without feeling, shy about my basic questions. It was just a strong support system for me. It really helped me to grow in a short period of time and build the confidence that I needed to be successful at Stanford.
What is your favorite memory of Central, or maybe what is your favorite annual event that Central will put on?
Yeah, I think there were a couple of things. One I mentioned already is the Project Motivation, and it is hosting high school students like I once was, and really speaking authentically about the experiences, both the opportunities and the challenges with the university as a Latina. But as well, I really was so grateful for a lot of the cultural events, certainly, for example, the celebration of Cinco de Mayo, but I think not in the sort of gratuitous way that we sometimes commercialize it, but truly to understand the history and to re-educate each other about what that really means, and then sharing those insights with some of our non-Latino friends. And so for me, it was a strong source of pride to be here and contribute, and to cook the foods and to retell the history of the various historical events from Latin America. So it really was a fantastic cultural experience as well.
Maybe, I think it's kind of been answered a little bit already, but how did El Centro impact your experience of your own culture? Some students come to El Centro, from a very, very, Mexican American or background, whereas some of them kind of find their culture here.
Right. It was interesting because, as I mentioned, I'm first generation Mexican American, so really strong and strongly connected to the culture. I speak Spanish fluently. It was interesting. While on the one hand, it felt much like home and very much my comfort zone, I did at times learn to sort of question some of our own thinking about our role within the U.S. And creating some positive friction and different points of view, both politically, economically. For example, there was a strong presence and support for the farm worker movement. I have some relatives, but what I'm closest to is my family who worked in factories, and so some parallels in terms of socioeconomics, but also some differences. And so I think being able to have healthy conversations and debates about, our role in this economy and as first generation, and what we truly should aspire to get out of an experience like Stanford. And what it means to be Latina and who defines that, and am I really that Mexican or not that Mexican. So I think it was the first time in my life that we had constructive disagreements about what it means to be Latina, and that could be defined in so many ways, and who's to define it for us. So I think having those very constructive and at times painful conversations, I think really helped me to grow, in my own skin and in my own background.
And I guess two more. One, how did your experience with El Centro help you, or how did the resources they offer help you grow successful academically, and or how did El Centro help advance your professional career after
Sure.
school?
Believe it or not, I had never really written a resume until I got here, and I distinctly remember there was a bit of a mini workshop, just very informal with a few people here. It was a senior who, was giving us some tips on, what to write on your resume, how to structure it, what to, highlight. And that for me was really educational. I mean, there's tons of books, but I think what really helped was that he really knew us individually as people and our strengths, and so really helped me to understand my strengths when I didn't recognize them myself. So from a professional standpoint, that was really great mentoring, as well as just even the resources, which even though I think we had printers and computers in our dorm rooms, I think just being able to access that here immediately while we were talking about the resumes was really helpful. So from a professional standpoint, that was helpful. From an academic standpoint, like I said, I could come in here just about any day and get some tutoring and spend the extra time that I needed when I didn't feel comfortable getting it elsewhere or it didn't exist anywhere. So it was really a drop-in session. What was also helpful is that we sometimes had group sessions, and so we learned from each other. So it was either one-on-one tutoring or it was group learning, and that really helped me get through some challenging times academically.
One last question: what direction would you kind of? I'm going to give you two questions. You can pick which one to answer. What direction would you like to see Centro go in the future, and something to change about the Centro, or if there's anything else that you would like to add?
Yeah, I think, and this might exist now, so I apologize, but one thing that I've learned over the years, certainly since I graduated from Stanford, is the importance of leadership development, specifically within the Latino community. I guess more specifically because it's sort of my world is within the business world. I think, looking back, my experience was that there was a strong emphasis on community organizing and things I tremendously respect and I think are relevant in our community at that time, and perhaps it has changed, and hopefully it has, from a business standpoint, because it is lonely out there, I think, in corporate America, and I think anything that we can do to continue to foster leadership capabilities within Latinos, regardless of their, sort of professional track, I think is really critical. And so having, for example, more alums come back, alums who are in solid leadership positions in their areas, to come back and either give workshops or mentoring, I think that's really critical and very much needed. And so I think it would really complement a lot of the cultural and academic activities. I think if we could include some aspects of leadership development, I think that will be a tremendous asset to Centro.
And one last thing, so I'm having everybody say El Centro Chicano is, and then a one-word description of what they see El Centro being. So some of the examples are home, vibrant, comunidad, and familia. So
Okay.
just say it into the camera.
Just one word?
Yeah, El Centro
Okay.
Chicano is, and then the word.
So say the whole sentence and then the word? Okay. El Centro Chicano is impactful.
Okay, that's good. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you. Will we be seeing the?
Yeah,
any
so
of-
I expect to have it. Did you sign the?
Oh, let me. No, I didn't sign anything.
Yeah, so I'll be editing all the footage. I'm also getting a lot of stock footage, or I mean a lot of other footage that Vida and Francis have, and kind of editing into the real, into the finished product. So I expect to have it done probably by the end of this academic year.
Okay,
So it's going to be kind of a long project, but
okay.
but yeah, I'm sure they'll definitely be forwarding out to the alumni list.
Well, thank you so much for all of your great work on this. And what year are you, or?
I'm a co-term.
Oh, okay. What are you co-terming in?
Biology.
Oh, okay.
So I'll be
Congrats.
applying to med school.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for, this is really great stuff, and it's made me nostalgic, and so very much looking forward to
yeah.
the final piece.
Definitely make sure that it gets out.
Okay, and your name, I'm sorry?
Quatsi.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thanks. Do you need me to call anybody?
yeah, if
Do you
you
want
could-
this back, or?
Oh, yeah.